do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get over the anxiety and just do it.
Yep, just do it.
Anxiety coming to take you away. Anxiety.
Part of my friends will fuck anxiety.
Fuck anxiety. I get that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I said it too, so now we're at an R instead of a PG-13.
You
Might as well light the cigarette. Fuck it.
Later done.
Well, because what we're talking about today is anxiety.
Yes.
That
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
when you look at these habits or any of the other habits, or did they hear anything we did?
I don't know. I think they might have. I heard it, so it's possible that they heard it. So I don't know. I had to mute it real fast. Yeah.
Well, so we have a million things for dealing with the fact that both of us suffer from a good deal of anxiety. And some days it works and some days it doesn't.
Yes.
I still smoke too much. I've given up pretty much everything else in my life, but this nasty nail in my coffin thing that I do.
I saw a video that almost made me want to smoke. It's that.
Don't ever.
It was weird.
Yeah, don't
No,
smoke.
they were talking about. They were like, why smart people smoke, and I was like, okay, this.
Explain. Okay, so why do
Well,
smart people smoke?
they were saying that it's a stress reliever. It's more about the actual action of having something to do with your hands.
Yeah, no, I can get away with it.
Um,
I've learned upstairs. That's when I smoke upstairs, folks. I've learned upstairs that if I have an unlit cigarette in my mouth or hand, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll put one behind my ear
Yeah.
so that I know I've got it, and then I'll forget about it.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be okay for a minute.
I do use CBD cigarettes, and one of my favorite things to do is just sit there with it unlit. Like sometimes I don't even smoke it for a while because I'm just like, okay, I just want to sit here with it. They also said that nicotine is better than it obviously has a lot more downsides, but it's better than caffeine at giving you energy.
No way.
Yeah, apparently. So.
Listen to me, double hitter. The other habit I still have is caffeine. It's sort of. I have moments of I'm drinking too much, and then I'll get back to my one a day, and then I'll not have any for a month, and then I'll be like, it'll be a day where I'm like, God, I need the energy, and yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up on it.
I looked at. So once upon a time, I worked all over the place, and I was in upstate New York, and I was working in this building, and I was ready for a smoke break. So I looked at the young man, guy about your age, maybe a little bit older, early 20s though.
Yeah.
He was new in the IT department, so he was the guy that would follow me around and go, yeah, take this, yeah, because no one really cared whether or not he was working.
Right.
I looked at him and I said, well, do you smoke? No. I said, married? He's like, no.
Don't worry. Well,
I said, listen, I'm going to give you some good advice right now. Pick up some bad habits. Someday you're going to be married and wish you were dead. You need an out strategy. I'm going to go have a cigarette.
I heard that joke somewhere. I don't remember who said it to me, but it was like, they were like, do you smoke? And I was like, no. They were like, are you married? And I was like, no.
No.
It was like, don't worry, you will.
Right. It's coming. You'll pick up that. Well, here's the thing, though. It really isn't. It's both sides of the marriage. It's because we don't. It's the anxiety of communication.
Yeah.
The thing that keeps us from talking to people, the thing that like shuts us down, actually is anxiety.
I just like. I oftentimes shut down when I'm not like when I'm feeling really anxious. And
It's the supportive nod.
It gets to the point where I know exactly what's wrong, but I constantly tell myself that I don't know what's wrong.
Right.
So when I talk to people, I don't know what's wrong.
Well, you know what to tell people.
I know what to tell exactly. Yes, I'm afraid to tell people what's wrong. So I end up
Anxiety.
telling people I don't know what's wrong.
Anxiety. You're afraid of the judgment.
Yes. And I had someone call me out, and it was like, okay, you have a decision. Either tell this person what's wrong, you don't. I told them. It felt a lot better, and they understood, and they didn't immediately jump on me.
My brain is leaving.
They didn't attack me. They didn't come at me. It didn't
It
happen
wasn't
the
what
way that
you
I think. Exactly. It wasn't the expectation that
Anxiety paints a picture in your head. In your head, mind you. See, here's the trick. All of those are perceived reactions. They don't, we think we know other people. People will show up in ways we never expected. For the good and for the bad. Because they're human just like you, they have a perspective. Especially at your age, the hard thing to realize is all of us that are older than you have some of that perspective still with us. Now, some people are better at accessing it than others. Some people don't go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some, or at least my experience has been.
Yeah, if you don't give people the opportunity to do something good, they won't.
Well, you're guaranteed a bad answer for a question never asked. You get the imagined answer.
Because you didn't actually ask the question. You get an answer that wasn't pertaining to your question. You didn't ask it.
The anxiety in your head made the decision.
Exactly.
Was it real? Is that so? Fantasizing is catastrophizing with extra steps. So what happens is we'll picture a world where people psychically know what we need. We'll have anxiety then over, oh my God, I need this. And then we'll get resentment over the fact that, well, how did they not know?
I have to try and learn how to treat life like school. Because in school, I didn't really have much anxiety about asking questions.
That's like powerful. Think about it though for a minute. That's like powerful. Treat life like school.
Exactly. Like when I didn't know something, I would just ask, and the teacher would answer. Granted, the questions I would ask was usually what we're going to talk about in about a week, but but it didn't matter. If she felt like I needed this answer, she would give it to me. But if she felt like it was going to be answered soon, she wouldn't give it to me, and she would say, "Okay, I'm going to answer that next week."
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Exactly.
Perfect what you're working on.
Just
That's why I've
work on
got
what
you
you're
working on
exactly.
this. Yeah.
Exactly. And it made it easier to ask questions without feeling like I was rushing or that I was over eager or that I was doing too much. For some reason, science teachers have always been really good at answering questions. Science and math teachers.
I find science and math teachers to usually be into it.
Yeah.
Especially the science teachers. There's usually and this is not a bad word these days, there's a nerdiness to it.
Yes. Like
in the sense that they have a joy in that discovery and they share that.
When I took a genuine interest in class, I usually found that most of my teachers were like straight up nerds about it, and it was fun because it would be they're teaching, and then I ask a question, and then they're like, "Oh, I haven't thought about that. Okay, blah 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 blah."
Oh, I love that.
Like it's just a back and forth, and I'm like, this is what I love. Like I would hate when I would ask a question and the teacher would either make me feel dumb or like would just like move on. Like it sometimes people don't always like give you the answer you're expecting, and so you just have to deal with that.
So if you expand that, because you were just saying, you know what, I don't have. What if you treated the rest of life like that? There are some. Okay, here's the idea. Here's my idea. This is where I'm living. How I try to overcome the anxiety, and man, you've seen it. It floors me to the futon. You know and it's been weird lately because I've got a lot of it. All of the tics are there. All of the things that tell me I'm dealing with anxiety.
Right.
But they're more like people I don't have to look at if I don't want it. But it doesn't. The tired's still here. I've been rough on my teeth. I have a tendency to clench my teeth when I'm anxious. That's like I can feel it in my first place. I always feel it is in my jaw. to the point where it can be hard on my teeth. Um, but I've been in a sort of decent place.
I,
But I apologize, I got
no,
off
you're
track.
good. You're good.
As far as in my head, my form of compassionate listening is the thought that everybody is my teacher. I know less than I know, so I should be good with saying I don't know often. Um, I'm trying to get better at when I have ideas for how to fix something, coming to people and going, but these are just the ideas I'm having. I'm trying to work through this as opposed to I'm attached to this idea is perfect.
Right.
And for me, as you were talking about how in school you had less of that, and you became comfortable, there were these people you could ask questions.
Yeah.
Some of them were not the best. Some of them
think
were
a
a
lot
little
of-
douchey,
I
but
think
there
a
were
lot of-
amazing people.
A lot of relationships are becoming comfortable asking questions,
Oh, I think that's everything.
and a lot of communication. Questions. Like, I will say though, like, I think sometimes I forget that your anxiety can hurt other people. My anxiety sometimes can hurt other people. I had someone give me a compliment, and I said,
Didn't know how to handle it.
"Is there a but at the end?" And they were like, "That hurts to hear you say." And I was like, "Oh, I had never thought about it."
Well,
And it just made me reevaluate that sometimes it's not always. Sometimes you have to trust things. Sometimes you have to let your anxiety like dissipate. You have to let it.
sometimes you have to logic your way through the idea that wait a minute, this
Person could mean what they're saying.
well, okay, so my mom and I have a rule.
Mhm.
This is a rule that my mom and I have. It's really a good rule that everybody should have. Everybody should have it. My mom gave me this.
Mhm.
You should feel like you have the right to ask anything, but you should remember the other person has the right to respond. So, in other words, don't come with an expectation.
Exactly.
Come with the idea you're bringing a question that you don't know the answer to.
Most of the questions that you can ask that hurt people because they're filtering.
I totally get that.
At least that's the way that I believe. Because if you're asking a question and you built up an expectation of someone, they may take insult to it just because you have that expectation.
So it's an interesting thing. So so I'm big on, as you well know, finding wisdom wherever I can. Here, there. So Hunger Games. No, it's the speech. Katniss is angry because she expected a reaction from the people. You know what, I did this, why didn't they do that?
Right.
You know what, they should do this now and they should do that. And I forget, somebody looks at her and says, no, you can start the fire, but you can't, people will show up the way they will show up. You don't have control. All you can do is give them the spark. It's organic. There's, and for some reason that really struck me. I was like, oh, damn. That's a real life thing right there. When you come to somebody with the expectation of how they're supposed to respond, man, you get beat every time.
50 Cent he was talking about G and why it fell apart. And he was like, I tried to put all of them on. They didn't work hard enough. I got them a shoe deal. They didn't wear the shoes. So I took back the shoe deal. Because they're not going to do what needs to be done to get the money that they need to make. So I'm not going to just keep handing out opportunities. So the thing that I was thinking about with that was, if you never give people the opportunity to do what they need to do,
Right.
they won't actually be able to do what they need to do.
Well, I think what. Okay, so I hear that story.
Mhm.
I bet those guys, the other members of G Unit, had a ton of anxiety about being in 50's shadow. And whether, so, that, no, but I mean, okay, so if you go look into where that's coming from,
Mhm.
it's gotta be. It's gotta be fear. Or fear that, man, he's pushing me around.
I will say a lot of the way he talked about it made me think that he could have done more, because he did say like something like, he was like, oh, why aren't we doing music, or blah 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 blah, or something like that. He was like, I shouldn't have to tell you you need to go and make music, like, because he was on tour and they were on tour with him, and he wanted them to go off and make music. I would say you should probably communicate that, but like,
Well,
it's
and here's where it gets weird. And then Biddy's got anxiety about telling his bros what to do, because they're also his bros. That's why those things always get complicated. Some guys deal with it better than others, but most, the Rolling Stones are a rarity. Those guys admitted 30 years ago that, you know what, they had the best job in the world, and some days you might not like the guy you were working with.
very true.
Best thing in the world for their relationship.
Very true.
They got over the anxiety. I gotta believe what held that band together was they put the anxiety out of the way. No, we're gonna keep doing this, and we can go sit around for, if we're not getting along, we can go do other stuff. We just come to work.
I think that's what made the Beatles last as long as they did, at least.
They only made it 10 years. I'm telling you.
10 years is a long time.
No, I'm telling you, Epstein's who held them together. As soon as he dies, it starts falling apart. There's no way to not say he's the fifth Beatle, because, you know, a million other people claim they're the fifth Beatle. And I'm telling you, the real story is Brian Epstein. That as a manager, he could quell their anxiety by going, nope, I'm in charge. Today it's time to work.
Right.
I was talking to a friend today about the fact that there's a million things that need done in the studio. I'm going to go World of Warcraft on you now. So when I used to play World of Warcraft, one of the big things is called going raiding, where you go with a bunch of people and take on a giant boss, whatever, doesn't matter. Big team. So I had a guy that was a raid leader, was great at that. And I was a guild leader, so I tried to hold people together, make everything kept going. For other reasons, it got stressful. But the point is, I have a million things that need to get done, but I have a million things that need to get done. The raid leader is somebody that says, and on this day we're going to do this, and we're doing it. And I said, and then I'll show up and we'll do it. But I need to go through a list of the things I need to get done so we can go, yep, today we're finishing the pond room.
Right.
Yep, today we got to go do this. Because I'm awful at it. Not because I'm not working on stuff, but because I could sit and I could accomplish almost nothing and have pieces I worked on all day. Right. It's that.
Been writing so much.
Well, and right now with the party coming up, all I care about is getting the house and everything together.
Right.
I'm not worried about whether or not anybody's recording. I'm worried about trying to get a house ready. I've got a backyard that has to be I get very anxious about people coming to the house. I have a ton of anxiety about it. This is my cave. This is my sanctuary. That I don't think people think about. See, and that's weird. Why don't people think more about my anxiety? I don't know. And I feel it, but I'm trying to move forward. But it's almost like I can set it down, but that also means I don't accomplish anything.
The reason I'm so big on the whole advocating for yourself thing, and making sure that you always consciously have what you need to do in mind, because otherwise it won't get done. You don't need to step on other people's toes. You don't need to be.
I don't even have toes
you
left. My toes have been so stepped on, they're gone.
You don't.
I don't have toes.
I get what you're saying. I'm saying you don't. taking care of yourself does not mean that you can't help people.
Well,
Taking care of yourself doesn't mean you can't help people. Because helping people is also part of taking care of yourself.
well, I feel like I try to help,
Mm.
and then everybody just comes back wanting more. That I try to draw lines, and everybody just ignores them and moves on. It doesn't.
I feel like the difficulty of working with other people is one of the major difficulties of trying to figure out the balance of getting the things that you need to get done and helping them with the things that they need to get done. I need to figure out a way to help you out with the house. But I also really want to show people some of my music before I have my
I want
birthday
that.
party. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to record some stuff.
If only there were 4 nights a week scheduled for that.
Well, look, the hard part about it is I don't.
I mean,
know
I've literally put 16 hours a week
Yeah.
into the schedule to
I
make this
understand
happen,
that.
and
I
literally,
understand
usually it's that you feel like, well, yes, but if I hide in the other room, I can keep working. And then the 16 hours gets kind of not used, even in a way that gets stuff done. You know,
Mhm.
that even trying, I, I, I don't know how to help. And I have a ton of anxiety about saying anything because there's already people that feel like the problem is me.
I won't say that I'm not good at it. I won't say that I'm good at it, which is advocating for what I need, which is sometimes literally I'll be sitting here and I'll be like, I need to record something. And the TV will be on. And something as simple as being like, hey, could you
But
mute the
there's
TV
like
real quick?
16 hours a week
No,
already set aside for the TV to be off, and how rude is it in the middle of the office to go, hey, I just want to use this time too, but I'm not going to use the time that you're making sure the TV's already turned off.
I can't record my own stuff with other people here.
Well, fortunately,
I'm
there's a
saying,
ton of time.
I'm saying,
He's not yet to show up on a Friday,
yes, I know.
and you have 4 hours on Friday.
I'm aware.
It's not anybody else. It really isn't.
I'm saying I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm not. That's not what I'm.
You talk about advocating for yourself, but literally that's just taking more.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm
That's
not
just
good at
going,
it. I
need
understand.
more. I know I've got this
no,
much,
but I already understand that I have time to do it, and I don't take advantage of that time. I already understand that.
But then what you do is you're angry because, well, can't I just take any other time I want?
I'm not angry.
You just said you're not advocating for yourself like that was a problem.
No, I'm not.
I'm
doing
trying
what
to
I need do
understand.
when I need to do.
I'm trying so hard to. And I have so much anxiety about it right now.
Mhm.
I mean, so much that I worry about, is he coming back? I worry about, is he going to get up today? I worry about, does he even want to do music here? I worry about, do they think I want this, or why do they view me that way? I have constant anxiety in this space. I worry 24/7 that somehow if I move wrong, it will lead to an explosion.
I'm not interested in making music anywhere else. I'm not.
No, I know. No, I'm not. I apologize. I know how that came out.
No, I understand.
What
I
I'm trying to
understand
do
that
is
you have
somehow
anxiety.
express this
I understand
anxiety.
that you have anxiety about it. I'm trying to quell some of that anxiety. I don't have interest in making music anywhere else. I'm not this comfortable anywhere else. I'm not this comfortable with showing who I am with anyone else really. Like, yeah, I'll show you a finished song, but like people tell me, hey, can I listen to some of your music? And I'm like, it's not finished. I can't show you that.
The thing that kills me is because of both of our anxieties, though. It's gotten to the point where I don't even hear it most of the time. I'm not a part of it anymore because you're hiding it from me because of YouTube. And that's not my fault. I know why. I can see it and go, okay, this is because he knows I haven't uploaded this stuff or done that stuff that I said I would. So instead of being able to share your music and have the joy we used to have, which would be you'd be here working, hey, can you listen to this? And yes, I'd have that on. You'd have headphones on, and you'd be working, and I'd be working, and it was great. This is really all about YouTube, isn't it?
Everything about it.
But do you know what I mean? If you look at the build-up on this and where we're at with both of our anxieties,
At least a good amount of it is about YouTube. Let's say.
because it felt so good when Spotify was done, but now Spotify's behind again.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you wanted to do was a little bit every day. But you got to a point where you were cut up, so you quit. And then we end up you've got anxiety about showing me that you're working on stuff, but meanwhile, you're not working on stuff in here either. And you're hiding everything. And I love the stuff you do. I don't know how to express that. But I know that also it's about, you don't want to hear me saying, why didn't you finish the other stuff? Why is that stuff not done yet? Because I keep wanting to put stuff out. Like, put stuff out in the sense of, I don't even care if it makes money yet. Because if we put cool stuff out every day that even doesn't make money, if we're putting it all over places and people are getting used to hearing your name, I can't get people used to it. But I have anxiety about pushing it all, especially if we have friends here. Because I feel like people are pointing at me going, well, you see, he's just, I don't know. I feel constantly judged.
There's a weird hierarchy that goes on and there's other people here. That
It's still my
really
office.
does get to me, I'll be honest.
Which part?
It's like they point at you and I can tell that you feel the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying not to point at me, but it'll be like, it ends up feeling like everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing?
What? I hate it.
It ends up bouncing around my head.
Mine too.
And it just, I understand that we're both like stressing about it. And I know that part of it is.
Do you know that mechanically and sound-wise we've come a long ways?
Yes.
Neither of us knew how to operate this thing. Everybody can see it, right? I'm pointing at this giant board of musicness that's right here. You know, that we have said for a long time that we have to lay down our anxiety because there are parts of this we don't know how to do.
Right.
But the part we do know how to do is produce it and get it out.
Right.
And then people are looking at me like I'm the bad guy when I'm saying the same thing about their stuff.
Right.
Even though what I had to do was go, I hate my anxiety and I just have to put it out.
Mm-hmm.
I hate your anxiety. We had to just put it out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be here every day sometimes. Sometimes it's so bad we're not here. Not because of the people out there, but because of the people in our fucking head.
Whether that's not here mentally or actually just not here physically. I'll go in there and go over there.
That's it.
But it's not, I don't think.
I feel like our thing is carrying more water than it needs to because there are a million things we're avoiding.
100%. 100%. I can 100% agree. There's no fight in me to argue against that.
My honest fact is what I want in my head, my little dream, my little extra step catastrophizing, is that we're caught up on those pieces so I can push you on the other pieces. That I do try to do some manager / producer stuff when we're doing music, which is looking at artists and going, no, really, it sounds great. We need to get this recorded. Now, I say that regularly. Now, I do know things are moving back and forth behind and stuff, and some things are getting finished. I don't know. I don't get to hear them. But
Finished, I don't think.
well, but you get the point. The point is on the enemy. You don't hide stuff from friends. That makes me the enemy. And I don't know how I ended up in that role. Because I don't have any interest in that role. You know?
I don't interact exactly the people that I view as enemies. I do
Well-
hide things. No, I do hide things from friends. That's not a good thing.
I-
I 100% do that, and that's never a good thing.
I'm not trying to attack anybody. I am trying to point out the role I've been put in. And it is not a role I've created. I've welcomed people. Always. The only place I've ever put pressure, and I say over and over again, I don't care how. I want the world to hear your music. It's great.
I've never viewed you as an enemy. I may have viewed you as an antagonist in an argument, but I've never.
Maybe there's a better way to put it. I get put in the role of the man. And it's everybody creates one a lot of times. Oh yeah, the boss man. Or the guy that wants this or wants that. I hate that role. I want to work with people. I'm a creative guy that, gets glared at if I make any noise while you guys are making music anymore. And it used to be a thing we shared. Yeah, I was silly. But those days were set up to be that way.
Right.
That's why Tuesday and Thursday were like that. Because I knew I had to shut the fuck up on Friday. Because on Friday, you guys were trying to finish something. I tried to make it so I felt still a part of it. Not like I was taking something, but like I talk endlessly about the joy that's part of that. Not like I'm out to take anything from anybody, but like I'm another person that loves the joy of the sound and the music and wants to share it with the world. Your guys' sound, your guys' music. And so we said Tuesdays and Thursdays, yeah, that's perfect, because you'll be running music, and he's running music, and I get that. And you'll have somebody in between that's kind of vamping, so that we can release it in a way that people go, wow. Wow. You know what? A, they're not glaring at him like he's a bad guy, and he's the white dude in the room. They are now. B, look at that, man. They're all just sharing the love of creating.
Do you think I would tell you that way?
Yeah, often. When you and Seth are into a thing, like if I'm, like the other day when I was late getting here, yeah, it was an interruption. It was, oh fuck, here he is. And I knew that. You worked it not looking at me at all. You'd stare that way. You avoid eye contact as opposed to looking at me like that. But, no, I feel it all. I don't know anything, so I pay attention to everything. I don't know how not to. It all adds up in my head. I've gotten better at not letting the anxiety control me, even though I can still do all the math. Even though I see all the pieces. I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you the nicest explanation of Vladimir Putin I've ever given on the show. I'm going to explain to you exactly why he's laughing at the entire world right now and what his strategy is, as missed by every strategist in the world. Vladimir Putin currently finds it ridiculous and funny that everybody is running around in circles while he literally just kills people. What he's doing is using conscripts that aren't his valued army, and he has sent only items that he wanted to be destroyed. His goal at this moment is, and by the way, all the generals you've killed,
So he's cleaning house.
he's cleaning house for the real deal.
He's building stuff.
Okay, and meanwhile, we're moving everything
I
in.
would say kind of the smarter stuff.
We're moving in everything into place to help defend the Ukraine. Don't get me wrong. This doesn't end with me saying don't defend Ukraine. So, if you look, as the entire world goes, oh, what a fool, what a fool. As he's using his untrained forces, as he's literally conscripting hundreds of thousands of men from that part of Ukraine. So what he's going to, yes. So then what happens? Remember, I'm explaining to you exactly what Vladimir Putin is doing. I'm not attacking him. I'm not even talking about his pee-pee today. I'm telling you what he is literally doing. Vlad, if this gets to you, somebody's paying attention. So in chess, here's the deal. The goal is you want them to fall and react. We are reacting all over the place so much and calling him a fool. A good general loves nothing better than to be called a fool when he knows what he's doing is making fools of people. So, very systematically, he is cleaning house. He is cleaning house of anyone he doesn't trust. He is sending them to a place where they will die without even proper soldiers around them, who will also die. Because Vlad don't care. Because all he wants is the little tiny pieces he said he wanted in the beginning. He's going to literally kill enough of his people and level all of Ukraine until the deal on the table is the part of the country he wants. He will agree to them joining NATO. He doesn't care. This is all about controlling Donbass. This is all about controlling access to the Black Sea and about controlling oil. Because he has to have it. He has to have it to deal with current sanctions. But the joy of it is, as he slaughters thousands of people on both sides, he doesn't care. And he lies again and again. Why? Because on the day he doesn't lie, they're going to be so happy. They're going to be so delighted that, oh, finally, they have won a peace agreement from Vladimir Putin. The peace agreement that he's sitting on already written with exactly what he wants. So those of you that think that Vladimir Putin is sitting scared in Russia, and for the record, I am not a fan. But in the world of three-legged KGB dogs backed into a corner, he's one of the best. And I'm telling you, he's laughing at you all. He's playing on the world's anxiety. The only way to win is to push him all the way out of Ukraine. Yes, that includes Crimea.
I thought the way to win is like
But there's no win here. There's already no win here. The goal is to keep this going as long as possible. He's already done that. He's already done it longer than was reasonable. As everybody's like, oh my God, he didn't take Ukraine. He wasn't trying to take Ukraine. He didn't want Kiev. He's just punishing Kiev. Till he eventually retreats, where his soldiers, his good soldiers, will hold the line. That he loves the idea that people think what he wants to do is simply assemble the Soviet Union. It's perfect for him. It plays on the fears and anxieties. And he thinks he's smart because he can visualize a way, like a good little rat, to get to the cheese he wants. I'm unimpressed by the animal nature of us all. The only people suffering are the Russians and the Ukrainians. And the only person doing that is one person. But our global anxiety is to do it for it. I mean, I have come to the opinion that the way you deal with anxiety is you put out the little fires around you. You become more aware of what is your sphere of concern versus your sphere of influence, because in the moment, most things that are driving you crazy, you can't actually affect.
Jordan Peterson was talking about how some of his patients, a lot of them managing their stress and getting rid of their depression and stuff like that, a lot of that was clear and make sure the space around you is calm. Make sure the space around you is orderly. Brush your teeth. Go shower. Do the things that need to be done every day. Once you get that taken care of,
The rest is easy.
A lot of your stress is gonna go away just because of the fact that you have order in your life. Once you have
Well, and
order
once you're
to
up and
base
moving.
things upon,
Yeah.
you can eventually start to wind back and start to get more and more
Does
peaceful.
Jordan? Quick question before we go. Does Jordan appear to... I got like a few years left of this, so listen to me while I'm still here. Does Jordan Peterson speak at all of how to deal with that if in a sitcom style situation similar to The Odd Couple? One person tries to put some form of like structure in, and the other person is a contrarian. What? Just does Mr. Peterson have an answer for me, please?
I don't think I'm a contrarian.
I know, I'm teasing.
I'm a contrarian off habit, not off of.
No, I love you, bro.
I
Me too.
try not to be so anxious.
No, I know, me too. Because it boils over. It gets on everybody.
Yeah.
Like, so somebody's anxiety bumps into somebody else's anxiety, which then turns into a whole thing because anxiety.
A lot of me being anxious, like last week or was it 2 weeks ago? It was one of those two.
Those, yeah, all of the above, I think, actually, but go ahead.
A lot of that anxiety didn't have anything to do with the situation.
So, do you know what the weird part is?
That it definitely added to it.
That's why I try to approach everything with that I don't know feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because I try to put that's a way of me dealing with my anxiety. The day of that one of the things I do is I actively, when I feel my anxiety and I'm going through a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
use it to remind me to be humble and to not have expectations. So in other words, the anxiety is there. You go, oh, God, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that, I'm afraid of this. And it becomes one of those people from A Beautiful Mind. And though it's there, its purpose becomes your superpower instead of your weakness. That your superpower is you can't trust your brain.
The way to live a better life is to wake up with the possibility that today could be a better day. The way to have better relationships, to walk into that conversation with the expectation, or not expectation, with the idea that their emotions
At their part.
could have nothing to do with you.
Right.
They could be so very detached from you. You can't just attach yourself to everyone else. You have to understand that there's a give and take. There's effects. There's your energy is gonna collide with their energy, and sometimes they're gonna bring things in. Sometimes you're gonna bring things in. Not everything that everyone thinks is about you.
Well, the good news
You
and the
have to
bad news
remember.
is that you know what? The only person who's a star in your movie
It's you.
is you. Okay? Good news, man. You're caught on yourself. But here's the good news and the bad news. See, I think of it as good news. Everybody else is in the midst of starring in their show and really doesn't notice most of what you're freaking out about. That pimple that you stared at in the mirror for 45 minutes,
No one cares.
no one's going to be...
Literally, every time I've ever
Okay,
walked
wait a
to
minute.
school and said, "Oh, I got this pimple," blah 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 blah. Every time,
Okay,
without fail, they were always like, "I didn't even notice."
But
dude."
if I will say this, if it's full Rudolph and it's getting ready to give
no,
birth
if
on the tip of
it's
your
on your nose, like
you can't blame them.
Can't,
That's not their fault.
They looked at you and was like, "Oh, ooh."
That's karma. You did something. I don't know where that pimple came from, but
the universe is mad at you.
we don't have any anxiety about that either.
Yeah.
You know what? Less anxiety. Actually feels really good. I'm really glad we talked.
Me too.
They deal with anxiety, folks. See you tomorrow.